I just built all of this for some Minecraft villagers.
Why?
Well, aside from being loud and annoying, they're also extremely overpowered.
Oh my gosh.
So rather than building a boring old trading hall, I'm gonna build a mega build for each of the villager types, starting today with the farmer. And of course, I came up with a perfect 5-step plan to do this, and I can't wait for you to see some of these builds at the end. Our first step is taking this really ugly landscape and turning it into something that actually be cool to build on. I was able to cover my sugarcane farm up pretty easily with just a bit of terraforming, but there's a lot of uneven and even snowy landscape over here I just do not want for this build. So let's grab some dirt from our chests and head up to the build site where we can finally build some terrain that'll actually inspire us. By far, the biggest problem we needed to fix first was this terrible, ugly snow cap on this mountain. The upside to it is that it's super easy to shovel through the snow and shape it exactly how I want. Although it takes a long time terraforming, it's always so satisfying. That snow absolutely eats through our shovels, so I'm over here at the grinder trying to heal it back up. And right back to it. I have a huge terraforming project I want to take on sometime in the next few months, and it's not going to be easy. This kind of gives me a taste of what it's going to be like. It's going to be so huge. The nice thing about the snow is it makes it super easy just to mold the shape that we want and then put dirt over top. It's actually kind of nice. As I kept placing dirt, I quickly came to the realization the double chest of dirt we had isn't going to be enough. Not even close to enough. So what I had to do was travel out to a nearby jungle, which would be covered by trees so you can't really see the ground, and just mine up all the dirt. I filled my inventory up a couple times, and that was hopefully all the dirt we need. The snow is all gone, or at least I thought it would be. The reason there's so many torches around here is because I've been at war with snow. I spent the last hours constantly fighting off the snow, and then more keeps coming. Every time I clear it, it snows again. It's so annoying. And in order to cover the ground and keep it from snowing, we can move on to phase 2 of our plan, building the crop fields. My plan is to take these crop fields that we have going on down here and carry that up the rest of this hill. If we're trying to put crop fields all along this terrain, it is way too rough and hilly. We need to smooth this out a lot. And with the magic of editing, all we have to do, there we go. The land is nice and smoothed out now, which is going to give us the perfect area to fill it in with all of the deep slate rings. This deep slate essentially serves as these old rundown walls that'll separate each of the crop fields. They look really good and they give a super nice contrast to the brighter crops. And I'm pretty much just spamming blocks, stairs, slabs, and walls all over the place. Check these out. These trees turned out so good. This one is perfect because it helps turn this path a little bit better. And then the one over here in the distance is great because it adds a lot of height to this area, which is going to be pretty flat. I actually saved some room over there to maybe put a windmill or something to give it some more height. From there, it was now field time. What does that mean? Well, we got to start planting all these fields, which is a very, very long process. I'll show you this first field here. This probably takes me almost an hour, which sucks, but oh well. I'm well over like an hour into this, and to be honest, I'm looking for any shortcuts to make this field planting process easier, and I have one. Normally what I'll do is I'll just bone meal these carrots on the spot and then break them and replace them and then slowly multiply them. I think that made sense. But what we can do instead now is take a whole bunch of bones and use this new nano farm inside of one of our builds. We just gotta load it up with all this bone meal, turn on this, and I guess just spam down here. Something's not working. There we go. Now it's running great. Oh my gosh. This farm is really loud, but it's also going to be a great time saver. So let's sit here for a couple seconds. There we go. And oh my gosh, that was such a big time saver. I can't believe I didn't do that sooner. With these fields, I'm trying to do sort of a checkered pattern. So I think the next one up there should be a wheat field and then maybe some flower fields up there. That'd be so cool. Hold on, with our newfound method, I wonder how fast we could make like a medium-sized field like this. I have a timer on screen. Let's do a bit of a field planting speed run. 3, 2, 1, and it didn't start. It started. All right, we gotta go. We gotta go. The first step to every field is getting these streaks where it's been like tilled or something. We're doing that with coarse dirt. Okay, that took just under 5 minutes. Now for the tedious part. This part's gonna screw me over. I need to put water all over the place, which is pretty annoying. I place a slab, waterlog it, and then place a lantern on top. That's my standard for everything else, but I think I have an idea to speed it up. I'm gonna grab a bunch more buckets, which I think will make it so that we don't have to come back to the water sources often, which will speed us up just a little bit. That's more like it. I think this should be all the light and water we need, so let's grab our hoe and start tilling all of this land. Another pretty tedious part, but we are 13 minutes in. We're going for an all-time record right now. Even if I'm the only person in the competition, it's still pretty impressive, I would say. Just under 20 minutes in, we just need to get all the seeds we need. And now that I'm thinking about it, we don't even need to use the machine to get the seeds, I don't think. I already think I have a ton, honestly. Yeah, check this out. We have a ton in here. So let me just grab all those. And I feel like we can get this field fully done in under half an hour. And stop the clock. There we go. Just under 26 minutes, we got this whole field finished. That's just an idea of how long this is taking me. It's time to build fields for the next 5 days in real life. For this farm here, I want to make another flower field, but instead of the tall flowers like the one over there, I want to use these white flowers like this. The problem is I don't have nearly enough of them, but there's a super simple farm we can make for this type of flowers, which will also give us a couple other colors as well. I just need a little bit of an open area and a plains biome, which I think this down here will work pretty well. It'll be cool to build some sort of house down here eventually. So let's count on a 9x9 space, place a row of 9 iron blocks, then leave another 9 block gap, and then place pistons at either side to push the grass back and forth, and then a note block facing into an observer at either side as well. This X is our triggers on either side. And what are we triggering? We're triggering these pistons, which means we need a quick line of redstone. Same over here. Then we'll just surround the whole thing in iron blocks. And to finish it up, we gotta fence this in to make sure none of the flowers escape, and then dig underneath to the middle where we need to place a dispenser facing up, and then some observers to let this dispenser know when it needs to fire. Fill it up with bone meal, and bam, there we go. That should be a maybe working flower farm. Maybe I'll place down some chests so I don't get overwhelmed with items in the first 2 seconds, and we'll see how it goes. And hey, it's actually working. I still see a couple of these flowers in here, so let me fill up my inventory like that and see if this works out. Hopefully. It's so loud. Oh my gosh. And don't get me wrong, I produced 1,000 yellow flowers, 1,000 red flowers, but like 10 of the stupid white flower that I want. So I guess at least we still have this farm for other types of flowers, the blue ones, the red ones, and the yellow ones. But other than that, we're gonna have to pick these flowers by hand, I think. So let's just do that. I mean, I guess I'll see how far these ones get me first, but it's not gonna be too great, I don't think. Okay, we got about halfway. Let me go out into the wild and collect at least another stack. And that was just the right enough. We actually have some extra. We have officially put in all of our crop fields, and this is looking so cool. It adds so much to our world, having all these different pops of colors. But like I was saying earlier, this is still pretty flat. There's the tree, which is great, but there needs to be something right in this open space. And that moves us right along to stage number 3, building out some structures. I think we should start with a simple windmill. And in order to find that design, we need to take a quick trip back in time to a long ago season 2 of our hardcore world. I have not been here in a long time, but the reason I came here is for one thing, look at this cool view, but also to take a look at our windmill design. I'll be honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of this thing. I feel like the proportions are way off. The build is way too skinny and thin to be holding this giant propeller windmill. So I'm going to steal this propeller design and just a whole new structure in the back. And I think I came up with a great design and creative. And I already grabbed all the materials we're going to need from our storage room. So let's grab a bunch of this stuff. Let's start with an outline of these brand new tough blocks, which I actually added to the world early, thanks to the experimental data packs. These are some of my favorite textures to build build with right now. This is a pretty strong looking base. I'm then going to throw in a bunch of this crimson as a big pop of color to outline the base here. We can also throw in this brand new copper door, which fits the theme pretty well. Now we're going to work our way into birch for adding even another color here. And then sandstone will be the main thing we use for the tower of the windmill. I'm also incorporating these chiseled sandstone. I might just be the first person to ever use this block in the entire game's history. Then I'm gonna kind of just do some weird stuff like this, I guess. For the windows here, I'm gonna borrow a design I learned from Grian, which is to jump inside here and place these brand new copper thingies and then scaffolding in front, and that makes a really cool window. Then we can do our standard window thing I do every single time, like this with a mangrove leaf, and I'll go around to the other side and repeat that. Okay, yep, this thing, and that. There we go. It's not a bad window, but I'm actually going to use this scaffolding to get up here, I think. That's kind of convenient. For up here, I'm going to use these dark oak slabs to cover up the creeper face on these sandstone blocks, and that allows us to let this top part here stick out one block. So we're going to use oak wood for this, and then I'm going to try to use chiseled bookshelves because those have a cool texture on the back of them. I'll show you in a sec. That is a pretty cool texture over there. And then I'll go around and stack stripped oak 3 blocks high at least. Please tell me this is enough. I don't want to get more. Come on. No, it's not enough. Yeah, don't mind me. Just gotta gather a little bit more wood here. Anyways, where was I? I need to finish this thing here. Punch out 2 more windows on the opposite sides. Do our same window design as before, of course. And for our roof, we're gonna use some orange blocks here to make a bit of a dome. There we go. That shape is looking not bad. For the top, to make sure this thing doesn't catch on fire, even though fire takes off, I'm gonna add a little lightning rod with wall, fence, and then the rod on top. But man, I feel like this windmill is still missing something. Oh yeah, I know what it is. We need some foliage down here to help it tie into the landscape better. And I mean, I guess we could add the actual windmill part of the windmill. That would make sense. So we'll block out 1, 2, 3 like that, and get some slabs that connect it to a few other places, even though I feel like that shouldn't be how a windmill works. I don't think it is. Oh well. And then we'll branch out in all 4 directions. For the sails themselves, I think this looks most like a kind of fabric, I guess. There we go. Take a look at that. It's looking so cool from a distance, and it adds a ton to this area. Let's turn our focus to another build on top of this hill up here. And this is going to be where we put the bulk of our farming villagers. So it's got to be pretty large. For this build, I'm going to use a lot of gray blocks, orange and yellow blocks, and red blocks, which is kind of a weird combo. It's kind of a weird build, but it's gonna be really cool. You just gotta trust me. This area here is generally where I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna have to flatten it out a little bit, but it's fine for now. Starting with the gray blocks, we need so much stone for the foundation. I'll take some stone bricks as well. We need a bit of tuff and a whole lot of deep slate. This could be enough potentially. I'm gonna throw down some chests up here to put all this stuff in. And in order to get the rest of the deep slate we need, as well as a bunch of andesite, I'm gonna drop down here. Hopefully we don't die, and we're good. Have I ever mentioned how annoying it is to mine up deep slate? Well, let me tell you, it's pretty annoying. It's so slow. You know, it's less slow mining andesite, which is what we did next. This is a lot more enjoyable. You guys are always telling me how you want to see more resource gathering in my videos, so here it is. This is what I do all day. And as one final gray block, we gotta go into our shepherd's house and grab some light gray wool. We have plenty, thankfully. Let's move on to the red blocks, which is super easy because it's just crimson wood. Thankfully, we spent our entire last episode building this huge tower that stores an entire crimson wood farm, which is honestly the best farm to ever exist. Let's throw in our bone meal, just like that. Hit a lever somewhere here. Where'd it go? Okay, this should be all the red blocks we need, I hope. Let's move on to the yellowish orange blocks, starting with, funny enough, a entire stack of hay bales. Trust me, it'll look good in the end. The last few blocks were super easy. It was just like yellow terracotta, which I had in my storage, some orange concrete powder, which I had in my storage, and of course, everybody's favorite block to build with, honeycomb. Yeah, that's right. I've been breeding up some bees over here specifically to get a ton of honeycomb, which is a weird choice, but it'll all make sense in a minute. Let's get building. check this build out. I'm so proud of this. This is the perfect size to fit a ton of villagers inside. Both have pretty decent sized interiors and are very detailed all the way around. Next up though, we gotta figure out how to cure villagers and actually get them inside of there. A while ago, I set up a villager breeder over here. I think it should be still working. There should be like way too many villagers in there. Oh, it's not so bad. There's a solid 173 villagers right there. Oh my gosh. Let's see if I can't set up a system with some rails to get these guys infected by zombies and then cured up. Okay, I came up with a very strange system here, but hopefully this zombie should infect them if we send it on through. Maybe. Yep, there we go. Okay, then we can send this guy along like that. And let's do that 4 more times. Okay, I think if I throw the weakness right there, maybe it'll reach. It does. It reaches all 4. That's perfect. Now we wait. Okay, their deals are pretty good, but we can definitely cure them a few more times, or at least another time. He should be able to pull them right back up to this zombie and do it all over again. You know what I'll be doing for the next little while? After a bunch of curing and trading, we now have these maxed out villagers here. And I think the easiest way to do this is actually, hold on, let's make sure we divert the track away from the zombie. The best way to do this will probably be with one of these furnace minecarts, one of the most underrated blocks in the game for transporting stuff like this, because it doesn't take any powered rails at all. Come on. There we go. Let's get a bit of an interior on this thing to make this a little bit of a nicer place to trade with villagers. First, I gotta kind of move them out of the way. I don't know how to do this really. Let's start by ripping out the floor and replacing it with some spruce wood. Then we've got to put a roof on this thing. I'm gonna do something weird. I'm gonna use soul soil, because why not? I've never used it in a build before. That's kind of the theme of this build, I guess. Trying new blocks. That's assuming I have enough for the thing, which I don't. So instead, we'll go through here and replace some of it with the soul sand like this. Yeah, that's really not bad. In order to enclose the villagers, we need a couple of booths. Those will work out good. And then we can throw in another guy somewhere, like right here should be fine. Yep, that'll be 4 for now. Obviously, eventually we're gonna have way more villagers like over in this room, but for now I think 4 of these villagers will do just enough for anything I need for them. Specifically emeralds and XP, because I already have a good food source. Anyways, let's build this up a bit, and I'm gonna throw our villagers in there now before it gets dark out, because if these guys manage to die somehow, I'm probably just gonna rage quit this world forever. All of our villagers are in place, but this room still has a lot of work left. Okay, to break up this floor, I want to put a little bit of a rug, and I want to get back into using some some glazed terracotta, because I really like the texture, and then maybe some orange wool in the middle. Yeah, I think I like that. We need to fix up this wall a little bit, so I'll just throw in some tuff, I guess. Yeah, I mean that works. And then we can put in some farmers market type shelves here where we can put some crops on top. Let's throw in some crops on each of these and bone meal them up. Let's put some crops and sweet berries, I guess. Yep, there we go. To add some more color and detail up here, I'm gonna throw in some moss and leaves, and we'll even throw some hay bales up there. Maybe they're storing some up here. I'm super happy with how this interior turned out. It's making me think I need to do more interiors. I just tried to use a lot of unusual stuff in here, like the hanging roots and stuff, to make it feel very like in agriculture. A lot of plants, right? Yeah. This will basically function as a place for me to get XP, emeralds, and the occasional food type if I need it for some reason. I'm not sure when I'm going to need glistening melon slices. I don't even know what these things do. I really need to build a path and connect it to the windmill and the rest of the area. Ow. But for this video, I think we're in a pretty good completed state. There's still plenty to do, but for now, I want to try to do something I've never done before. In the next coming months, I'm going to try to post every single week. I'm not sure how that's going to go, but we're at day 900 in our world right now, flying towards day 1000, and I really want to make way more consistent content for you guys. Anyways, subscribe, and I'll see you very soon.